Alright, greetings and welcome back, gentles and ladies, to episode 9 of EXO Plays Donkey Kong Country 3 on Game Boy Advance. We're back with another round of Swanky's Dash to kick things off, and he just says the same thing every time, so I don't feel like reading it. That's all I'm saying. It's the same thing as always, and I don't know, I might as well show off the brake, I guess. The brake is in this game. It doesn't really seem to do anything, like it just seemed to go at the same speed I was going at before. Oh, you can press the B button, okay. I think the down button and the B button brake, and then the A button and the up button jump. But as I've been saying throughout the playthrough, there's no instance in this entire game where you need to jump over anything. Like I said, it feels like these levels were almost finished, but not quite. So there are mechanics that go completely underused. There's nothing more frustrating than a game that's almost there. You know what I'm saying? We won the minigame, by the way. And we won some prizes. I don't know, I guess the coins are useful because we need them to buy things, but the lives already have 70s. I will say, evidently, this game does not hand out lives quite as much as the first two. Because by like the third world of DKC2, or DKC1 rather, I'd maxed out my lives counter. DKC2, it took me a lot longer, but I still managed to do it before the end of the game. We're nearing the end here, and I'm still only at like 79 or 80-ish, which is kind of interesting, so I guess this game is a little bit more balanced with that. It's still showering you with lives, way more than you'll ever need. Kind of makes you wonder why the game even has lives to begin with, but, you know, still. By the way, I found this out during my text playthrough. You can kill underwater enemies with squawks, which is neat. It's one of those weird things that you never actually do. So it's kind of neat to know that that's possible. I mean, I don't know why it wouldn't be, but still, I just thought that was kind of fun. And looks like we're gonna have to chase after Unguard, who's running away again. Let's see. So this level, what is it called? I don't fucking remember. Editor Michael, put up the name of the stage right now. This stage is kind of the equivalent of Animal Antics in DKC3. We're going to be playing with all of the animal buddies in DKC3. And which is kind of a fun. This is probably the best level in Razor Ridge, if you ask me. Like the Floodlit Fish is a pain in the butt in the remake. It's okay it's fine in the original, I guess. But this level here, obviously Confused Cliffs was just a misguided idea for a stage. By the way, the splash damage from those explosions goes off forever. So don't touch the explosion. You know, usually an explosion in a video game, it's usually like the projectile itself when it initially explodes hurts you. But with the splash, it will cause splash damage in this game. This one bonus room is kind of interesting how you get into it. You have to basically pull a Butter Bridge 2 and jump off your animal buddy. Like that was what it was, right? Butter Bridge 2? Or no, maybe it was Cookie Bridge to get to Soda Lake, where you have to like use Yoshi to bounce, like you go underneath the goalposts in a Super Mario World level, and then bounce off of Yoshi with the select button, or maybe it was the X button in the original. And you will bounce upwards and go behind the goalpost so that you can get the secret exit. Same idea for that bonus room, like you basically just bounce off of Ellie, you know, get off of her, and that will land you next to the bonus room. I don't know, this level, it's not as fun as Animal Antics, I guess, because it's not quite as challenging. I mean, it's not like it needed to be brutally difficult or anything, but come back here. Fuck you, game. Fuck that shit. Now I gotta commit seppuku. But as I was getting at, yeah, splash damage, it'll fuck you up. This stage, you know, it's just more of the same shit we've been doing throughout Razor Ridge. Dodging copters and, you know, It just feels like they had no real ideas. Like, this part with Ellie doesn't even use her, like, I think it's worth noting in DKC3, as opposed to the other games, that you don't really ride animal buddies all that often in this game. Like in DKC2, the only times you turned into an animal buddy was with a stage that focuses exclusively around them. And I just completely fucked myself over there, and that was my fault, because I wasn't paying attention because I'm commentating. So we're gonna have to commit Sudoku. By the way, someone asked, instead of killing yourself, why don't you just hit pause and select? Well, you're not allowed to go back until you've beaten the stage at least once. That's why. I guess if I wanted to, I could beat the stage all the way through, and then come back to get what I missed, or, you know, well, it assumes that I failed, but I don't know, I just feel like it's faster to kill myself. I don't know. That's just my preference. I like to finish levels kind of in one run, which is why I still to this day have not gotten all the red rings in Sonic Generations. Well, I have gotten them all in Lost World and Colors, and the reason for that is, in Generations, they make you replay the stage multiple times to get all the red rings. Because, what was it called? Not Marble Garden. Sky Sanctuary in Sonic Generations. They better put me next to the barrel so I can try again, or I'm gonna be really pissed off. Much like Sheriff Rottingham. I'm going to be real... Okay, no, they put me back with this. Okay. I'll take it. So, I don't even remember what I was speaking about. And it's only been a couple minutes. Let me just open up this carton of milk real quick. It's good carbonation. Gotta have the caffeine, because I just got done with an 8-hour shift at work. And dinner, with family and stuff like that, so you need the extra energy. Energy. It's emitting a powerful energy signature from Mega Man. I have no recollection of what I was talking about before this. When I got hit. I don't know, I guess I was talking about, like, unless you're playing a level like, not Snaky Shanty. The level that Snaky Shanty plays in, Rattle Battle? Unless if you're playing a stage like Rattle Battle or Web Woods, you didn't really turn into the Animal Buddy. For the most part, Animal Buddies were still... Oh god, I missed the fucking coin. It's gonna be all the way at the end of the stage, isn't it? Well, at least we get to play as squawks that can shoot, which should have been the only squawks in this game, if you ask me. People in the comments, is there anyone who's a big fan of quawks? Is there someone out there whose favorite animal buddy is Purple Quawks? Let me know. I would like to know if there are people who genuinely enjoy his gameplay that much. It would be interesting to hear. But I don't know, it's a pretty short, easy stage. Like, there's not really much to it, especially if you're just going to the end. But yeah, I really wish I could remember what I was talking about before I got hit in that one bonus room and forgot. This keeps happening. I'm suffering, much like Dory, I suffer from short-term memory loss. But only when I'm recording footage. Because that's how it works. I'm sure. Oh yeah, Sonic Generations, Red Rings, Sky Sanctuary. In that level, I think it's in Modern Sonic's level, but it might be Classic Sonic's level. At the end, you know, they've got the reference to the ending of the original stage where you're like running up the pathway as it's collapsing to get to the Death Egg. But in Sonic Generations, they have 3 paths you can end up on at the end of the stage, and at the end of each of them is its own red ring. And there's no way to kill yourself to go back and grab the other ones. And I think even if you do kill yourself, the red rings reset anyway. In Sonic Colors, except for one stage, in Sweet Mountain, I think. Sweet Mountain Act 4, I'm pretty sure it is. Okay, so up here is where our coin is, and I always forget about this one. and then I end up having to replay the stage like I just did. Which is just annoying. I mean, I guess it's good that there's some exploration value to this. Alright, got him. But still, you can't even get up there if you don't have both cons. It's just, I guess it's equivalent to those levels in DKC2, like, Crockhead Clamber, where, like, you have to get the coin. Like, I'm pretty sure they changed the color scheme for this level, by the way. Unless if, I don't know, maybe I'll go pull up some footage from my SNES run in Game Mavericks and compare, but I'll probably feel too lazy to do that, so... Yeah. This level, I can't remember what it's called, but the gimmick is we're climbing around on ropes and there are buzzes everywhere, and... It's fine. I could play this fine, I don't really have too many complaints about it. There are a couple of parts where the camera's not super helpful, and sometimes buzzes will just kind of fly into you without warning, and that's no good. But for the most part, everything's pretty well telegraphed and it's pretty fair, so... Not too many complaints about this one, I guess. It's really like... Problem with Razor Ridge, I mean, I guess it's not the worst stages of all time or anything, besides maybe Confused Cliffs. But it's just kind of a dull world to play. Every level looks the same. Like the cliff levels and the cave levels have the same color scheme. And the entire time you're just dodging buzzes and you're dodging copters. It gets old. I want to play something else. That's kind of my big problem with DKC3 as a whole. And it has to do with the theming of this game. It just feels like a lot of the levels in this game just kind of look the same. It's going back, I mean, I guess it's better than DKC1 where all the color palettes were kind of bland and there was like no standout colors, like everything was brown, gray, and white. And green. Brown, gray, white, and green. That's the DKC1 color palette. There was not a whole lot of other colors. Then you played DKC2, and the game is so much more colorful than the first one was, and it just is such a much more visually engaging game because of it. As you have no doubt discerned from my previous reviews, I'm a big fan of color in my games. Have a wide color palette by all means. It makes your game's graphics pop. It's engaging to the eye. You know, it is the most imperative thing if you're gonna make a game in color. By the way, this is one of those levels where you do have to bring Perry to the end to unlock a bonus room, much like Stampede Sprint. So don't let Perry get killed, or you're gonna have to kill yourself to go back to the checkpoint and try again. And by the way, if you lose the bonus room, then you can't go back in, so you have to kill yourself then too. But I think this is an annoying green banana one, isn't it? Well, I'm not sure who to blame for that one, because I was kind of hasty, but at the same time, maybe you shouldn't have the buzzer, like, literally right above your head as the thing starts. I guess I can try going back and grabbing Perry again, because the animal buddy box probably respawned. Which I guess, I don't know. Not really fan of... I'm pretty sure I got that end before, so I don't know what the deal was. Alright, I don't see Perry. There he is. And I got hit. And I guess I could get to grab all the goodies again, which is always swell. DKC2, big color palette. And you get back to DKC3, and it's more colorful than the first one, easily. But a lot of it is still very brown. Like, almost every level has brown in it. Almost every single one. Obviously, there are exceptions with levels like this where they, like, just kind of change the palette. And I guess the ice levels don't really have brown in them. Oh, except for the cabins. There's so much brown in this game. And it's just like you think back to DKC2, there were levels that were very green, there were levels that were very orange, there were levels that were very red. Like, the lava stages in that game really pop. And they're very engaging to look at. And then you play DKC3, and all the levels just kind of, visually, just kind of blend together. And it makes for a game that kind of feels very samey. It reminds me a lot of Yoshi's Island, which is a game that is severely lacking in environmental variety compared to other platformers of the mid-1990s. Like, you compare Yoshi's Island to even DKC1, you compare it to Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles, you compare it to anything, really, and every level looks the same in that game. Every level is either a cave, or a fortress, or just a generic grassy level. And that game, it gets really dull to look at after a while. You just are itching for some visual variety. And DKC3, I mean, I guess it's not the worst offender I've ever seen as far as that goes. By the way, this is a completely new boss, I should probably mention that. And this is the second of the two boss themes in the game. There's Boss Boogie, which is... Boss Boogie is the one that plays for most of the bosses, even the final boss, and we'll be talking about that when that comes along. But this is Croctopus. You might remember Croctopuses from DKC1. They were the little octopus enemies. And the gimmick with those guys is that they would, you know, basically follow you and they would spin around. This Croctopus looks nothing like those Croctopi, which is how you spell the plural of Croctopus, by the way. That will be on the exam. And if you don't pass, you can't be in the EPG fan club. I'll have Raving Dave kick you out of the Discord and all that. I'm sure he was glad that he got his little... I don't know, it's not a cameo, a shout-out? Guess that's what you'd call that. So how you fight this guy is basically these bombs that I believe are reused from a Saber Wolf game that came out in Game Boy Advance. Like, they made a new Saber Wolf game on Game Boy Advance, Rare did, in the mid-2000s. And I'm pretty sure that that sprite, that bomb sprite, is ripped right out of that game. You know, it looks the same. Maybe I'm full of shit because I have not actually played that game. I just saw a screenshot of it once and recognized the bomb sprite, and I was like, yeah, they totally reused the bomb sprite for the Croctopus fight. It's basically what you have to do. It's pretty self-explanatory. You just get Croctopus to touch the bomb with his tentacles. And when he does, it blows up on him and he gets hurt. And the tentacles will home in on you, so basically you just stand on top of the bomb, and then he will touch it and he'll die pretty quickly. It's a pretty easy boss, actually. Not very difficult to dodge the tentacles. Especially with Dixie here, but with Kitty it's kind of annoying. Usually this last phase goes pretty quickly for me. Because he's doing two tentacles at once, so odds are, whatever one is not going after you, if it's not hitting the bomb, it's probably gonna hit the bomb. There you go, Dixie, another obstacle out of the way. There are far too many boss fights in games nowadays. I'm just glad I've retired. That must be it now, I've been following you around for hours. So in the original version of the game, you had to play K3 before Razor Ridge, and then after you beat Razor Ridge, you unlocked the final stage. So that dialogue that Cranky just said makes sense in that context. In this version of the game, as I've been teasing at for the entire playthrough, there are, in fact, new stages to play. And I'm trying to remember, did I play the... Yes, I did. I played the Funky Mission. I'm trying to remember... No, I didn't get the Banana Bird and Razor Ridge, because we can't get it yet. So up over here is our water, or our turbo ski to climb up over here. In the original version of the game, I think there was an island here that had that Banana Bird cave down at the bottom of the screen over there. You'd find it up here. In this version of the game, it's now a new world called Pacifica. And starting off, we have Dingy Drain Pipe, and we get to hear Pokey Pipes again, which is a fantastic freaking song. And I feel like didn't finish my thoughts on something. And it's always fun when you get to hit a bunch of these guys in a row. And looks, I don't know, I'll just commit spooku. I didn't remember what I was talking about. So, Croctopus, he replaces a boss from the original game that you used to fight there in Razor Ridge, but which actually was moved to this world. So if you're like, where'd that boss go? He's still in the game. He just got replaced. Which is, I don't know, Croctopus, it's an okay boss, I guess. I don't know, I guess thinking about it, it's not that much more or less complicated or well done than some of the bosses in this game. But it's I don't know, it's not like this game is single-handedly elevated over the original because of that boss, if you know what I'm saying. This level kind of reminds me a lot of the water levels from DKC 2, which all had the same gimmick of the water levels changing. There will be parts of Dingy Drain Pipe where you'll be swimming around, and there will be parts where you'll be walking around, and the water level will change periodically as you reach certain parts of the stage. So that's how that works. It doesn't look like I can... well, it doesn't matter. But yeah, Pacifica... I know before I did my review that I know that my friend Alec was like... He cited this as one of the reasons why the GBA version is better, and I guess there's new content here. But as I said in my review, I feel like these levels are kind of mixed. Just like the original third tier stages. Or sometimes you'll have one that's pretty good, like the Dingy Drain Pipe is a pretty well done stage. But there's at least one level in this world that I really hate, and it's actually coming up pretty soon. And I don't know, at least probably two that I hate, really. And that pretty much alone, it's just like I can only give so much points, so many points to DKC3 GBA for making 3 good new levels and 3 kind of shitty ones. I do enjoy that moment where you get to like ram through a bunch of them at once, because that's always fun. I always enjoyed that one part of Misty Mines in DKC 1 where you get to roll through like 12 naughties and you win an extra life for that. I always thought that was fun. So any opportunity I get to barrel through a bunch of enemies in a row is always fun. So that's a highlight for me right there. Obviously there's this hidden on guard in the stage that you can use to get through this Cocoa minefield. One commenter suggested that the reason that they swapped the colors on the Cocos was because red means stop and green means go. I suppose that makes sense. I'm not sure if that's what they were thinking when they did it. Maybe the green ones were always supposed to be the ones that moved, and the red ones were always supposed to be the stationary ones, but there was a programming error during the development of the original, and that's what happened. But who knows? Looks like we got 3 more of these guys, and remember, the roll is your best friend, and I can't go up there. There's bonus room, so we get to commit Sudoku. And on that note, I think this is a lovely place to stop. So it's been about 23 minutes, and I don't know, fuck it, we'll finish the level. And then we'll be done. So... one thing I have not mentioned... Well, actually, I should probably talk about this first. In one of the previous parts, I was talking about nuts and bolts, theme that plays in the factory levels. Should probably go back to the swordfish. Brilliant camera work right there, game. Come on! I went back for him! Oy vey. I Gewalt! I was talking about Nuts and Bolts, which is one of the best tracks in the original, and an excellent track in this game as well. And I basically said something to the effect of that I didn't think it was Evelyn Novakovic's, one of her compositions, because it was really good. Which is, I don't know, I meant that when I said it, but part of it was also that it just didn't feel like something she would compose, if that makes any sense. Not that it really felt like a David Wise track either, but when I think of Evelyn Novakovic, I think of Voices of the Temple and Northern Hemispheres. I do know that she did Ice Cave Chant, which is probably her best contribution to DKC 1. Like, that track is really well done. That's an example of an Evelyn Novakovic song that really fits. But still sounds like something she could make. And, you know, I just think of her more moody and atmospheric songs when I think of her. And when I think of that, that's not what Nuts and Bolts really sounds like in the SNES version, so I didn't really think it could be her. Still, I do have to confess, especially after having read some replies in the comments about my previous statements on Nuts and Bolts and Evelyn Novakovic and stuff. Really? You're gonna put just exactly one of them out of reach. Well, it looks like we get to try again. I do have to confess that those people were probably right. That was not a very smart, intelligent, or respectful thing for me to say about Evelyn Novakovic as an artist. Just because it's one of the better tracks in the game does not mean that she is incapable of composing it. I don't know, I guess my point is, I apologize for saying that, and to elaborate more as to why I didn't think it was one of hers. It just doesn't sound to me like an Evelyn Novakovic composition. And that's that. And by the way, I do have to stress that that is her last name. She has not been called Evelyn Fisher in a very long time. She is just credited as Evelyn Fisher in the... Did I get the... Yeah, I did. I already got the, DK coin. So, yeah, that's Dingy Drainpipe. You got more to go, Pacifica, so I will see you guys next time when we play through it. Till then, I'm Exio, and I'll see you guys next time.